postal system handles millions of mail pieces every day. All you need to do is put your heartfelt letter in an envelope, write the address, slap on a stamp, and dump it into this mysterious box. And it magically spawns onto your friend's doorstep. But I've always wanted to know what's really going on behind the postal system. And what better way to find out than to become the mail? Wait, what? Goodbye. Let me out. Your journey starts here. With Postie, your friendly local mail carrier. Once a day, Postie drives around in a van, collecting mail from each mailbox on their designated route. Once complete, Postie returns the mail to their regional mail sorting facility, along with all the other Posties in the area. And you end up in a giant jumbled mail mountain. Now it's time to send everything off to their delivery addresses. But where do we even start? Sorting centers in the US can receive millions of pieces of mail every day, and they're all going to different places. This one's going local, this one's going regional, and this one's going international. We could get these human monkeys to sort through them one by one, but that would take forever. So instead, we unleashed the SORTATRON 3000! A highly specialized sorting robot that can sort up to 40,000 letters per hour. Oh, that's right, she's a very picky eater, and only likes eating standard-sized letters. But this mail mountain consists of all shapes and sizes, so first we need a way of filtering the mail to leave only the sizes that SORTATRON likes. So we unleash the CULLATRON 3000! A different robot specialized at removing unwanted mail sizes before feeding it to SORTATRON. CULLATRON's real name is the Color Facer Canceller Machine, and each of these fancy words stands for a different process that the mail pieces will go through. The first stage is the culling. And this is where CULLATRON gets rid of the mail that SORTATRON doesn't like. There's 4 types of mail you can expect in the jumbled mail mountain. Flat but oversized mail, flat but undersized mail, flat and standard size mail, perfect for SORTATRON consumption, and mail that's not really flat at all. To start, all the mail is dumped into a hopper and onto a conveyor belt. But there's a problem right away. It's all bunched up, and passing giant clumps through CULLATRON can cause problems. To solve this, the conveyor is slanted upward, which allows gravity to peel the tops of piles off, spreading them more evenly, and flappy smacker boys are used to break things up further. Once the mail is roughly spread out, the next step is to remove any bulky parcels with the help of a giant screw roller. The roller is positioned so that only skinny mail can slide under. Any large packages are repeatedly smacked to the side until they fall into a bin, where they're manually sorted and dispatched by actual human beings. That's bulky items taken care of. The remaining mail now tips down a waterfall chute and onto a new conveyor, but this time they're traveling vertically instead of flat. The next item to cull is undersized parcels. CULLATRON deals with these pesky items by dropping them into the abyss. But letters that are 3 inches or taller get safely carried over with the help of pinch conveyors. At the bottom of the abyss is a tray where the small items are collected and manually processed. Now all that's left is standard sized mail and oversized flats. The last culling operation removes these oversized pieces with pinch conveyors again, but this time they're positioned even higher, so they only grab the big guys, feeding them into a bin for manual processing. But if a standard sized letter is standing tall, it can get mistaken for oversized and yeeted out as well. So there's a flappy snacky boy somewhere earlier in the process that makes sure all the mail is resting along their long edges. That's oversized flats taken care of. But even though the letters are all standard size now, they're not separated evenly, and some are even overlapping, which can hide the addresses and stamps. So to separate them, the overlapping letters are squeezed until they peel apart, and then a pick-off belt grabs the leading mail piece, flicking it forward 1 letter at a time. Now we're left with a perfectly spaced out stream of standard sized mail. Congratulations! You made it through the culling stage safely. You're still alive, right? Great! Because now you're up to the facing stage, where CULLATRON wants the letters facing the same direction. Each letter's orientation is found using cameras. by detecting the phosphorescent border on its stamp, which glows under UV light. At the start, CULLATRON wants all the stamps along the bottom edge, so any letters that are in the wrong orientation are sent to the twisting belts of death, where they get flippity-doo. Mail that's oriented correctly is diverted and merged again later. Letters with stamps in truly cursed locations sail straight into a reject stack for manual handling. You now move on to the cancelling stage, where a postmark is smacked across the stamp to show that it's been spent. Stamps equal money, so cancelling them means they can't be reused in an infinite money glitch. This stage is also when the letter's addresses are read using high-speed cameras in a process known as optical character recognition. Basically, the camera turns the image of each character into a grid of ones and zeros. 1 means black, 0 means white. The computer has a database of what it expects each character to look like in terms of ones and zeros, so it does a comparison, finds the best statistical match, and decodes the whole address that way. This can get a bit funky when people write in cursive though. If the handwriting is unreadable, the photo is beamed to a remote handling center, where a human being manually attempts to decipher the chicken scratch. Once the computer knows the letter's destination, a special fluorescent barcode is sprayed onto it with this information, now serving as the letter's new identity tag. From here on, this barcode is the only thing the machines care about. Finally, the letters get flipped again. So now the stamps are all at the top and get sent to 2 different bins depending on their orientation, conveniently ending up facing the same way in the end. Another handy thing CULLATRON does is send a local and outgoing mail to separate bins. So mail staying inside white country gets sent to these 2 bins, whereas mail going to all the other countries gets sent to these 2 bins. Now all the mail has been fully processed and is perfect for SORTATRON consumption. Thanks CULLATRON for all your help. Getting back to our original problem, how do we send all this jumbled mail in the right direction? It's going to different places all across the world, and if you gave it to Postie like this, they'd need a teleporter to deliver everything on time. That's where SORTATRON comes in. SORTATRON's job is taking this jumbled stack of mail that's heading in all different directions and separating them into different bins according to their destination addresses. So first we sort by zip codes. Blue countries' zip codes start with 1, green countries with 2, and yellow countries with 3. To start this process, the mail clerk takes the stack of letters and feeds it to SORTATRON. She gobbles them up one by one, scanning the fluorescent barcode to determine which bin the letters belong to. Oh, this one's blue mail, towards the blue bin you go. The letters travel sandwiched in between 2 high-speed belts, and in front of each bin is a special infrared light barrier with a transmitter on one side and a receiver on the other. When a letter flows past a bin, it breaks the light barrier, so SORTATRON knows exactly when it needs to activate its deflector to smack the letter into the correct bin. And in reality, all of this happens really fast, like this fast. Once the machine has finished its perfect pile pooping, we're left with 3 stacks of mail, each separated by region. You're then taken to the loading docks and off you go! All across the world. Of course, there's only 3 regions in this example, but Earth has about 200 countries and many more states, cities, and towns. So you can imagine how big SORTATRONs can actually get. In fact, mail centers can have up to 15 SORTATRONs or more working simultaneously. And hey, look at that! You've just arrived at Blue Regional Mail Center, and guess who's waiting for you? Another SORTATRON! Now we need to sort the letters into separate piles for each zip code. And then within a zip code, we do another sort to separate them into piles for each postie. You get a pile, and you get a pile! But there's still a problem here. The pile is in a completely random order. So when Postie arrives at a letterbox, they'll have to spend a lot of time searching for the right letter. Wouldn't it be nice if the stack was in Postie's exact door-to-door delivery order? They could just pick each letter off the top of the pile. Let's think about this problem for a second. let's say in this zip code, we have 3 friendly neighborhood posties, and they're each assigned a delivery route. Street A, Street B, and Street C. For plot reasons, each street has exactly 10 houses, and every single house has a letter to be delivered to them. So right now, the mail clerk back at the sorting facility has a jumbled stack of 30 letters. But in the end, we want 1 bin for each street, filled with letters perfectly in order, houses 1 to 10. So let's see how Sortatron goes with our regular sorting method. And, the first address is letter 10 for Street B. But we can't put it into the bin yet because letter 1 needs to go in first. Okay, so let's just hold on to that one for now. Next is letter 7 for Street A. Alright, I guess we'll hold on to that one too. Oh look! Now it's letter 1 for Street B. Into the bin you go. And the next one is letter 7, Street C. Great. You can see how inefficient this is. Now imagine if you had 100 houses per street. To solve this, we need a different sorting program instead. Let's restart our example. The new program requires 2 sorting passes. The first pass groups all the letters by delivery sequence order, with 1 bin allocated by each number in the sequence. The first letter in our stack was going to house 10 on Street B, so it goes to the bin for all the 10s, as it's the 10th number in the sequence. The next letter was for house 7, Street A, so it goes into the 7s bin. House 1, Street B, into the 1s bin, and house 7, Street C, into the 7s bin again, and so on and so forth. It might seem a bit strange at first, mixing up mail from all different streets together, but it'll make sense in a second. So we now have 10 bins containing 3 letters each, and the mail clerk collects the bins all in order. 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s, and 10s, and refeeds them together into Sortatron for a second pass. Since the first pass did all the hard work, the incoming stack has the letters in delivery sequence order already. So all Sortatron needs to do now is sort each letter into its respective street. The 1s stack first, then the 2s, the 3s, and so on. At the end, you're left with 3 neat piles, 1 for each street, and perfectly sorted into all our Postie's door-to-door delivery orders. You can actually use this method for unlimited houses, as long as you have enough bins. Great work, Sortatron 3000! And 4000, and 5000, and 6000, and 7. Finally, all the nicely ordered piles are dispatched to local mail distribution centers. And when you get there, guess who's waiting for you? Another sort! Nah, it's just all the posties. The posties should in theory just be able to chuck the mail stacks into their bag and then whee! But machines and humans can mess up the ordering sometimes. Even the best doggo can make mistakes. So our diligent postie might need to do one final check, just to make sure that everything is correct. And then it's whee! Whee! And that's it! You've officially survived the postal system and made it safely to your destination. Into the shredder you go. See ya next